I stopped breathing when I heard my name through the heating vent. Not the way you say someone's name when you love them, the way you say it when you're planning something. Your mother won't even notice, Lisa said. Her voice floated up from the kitchen below, clear as if she were standing beside me. The place I found has activities. She'll make friends? My son's voice, lower, harder to catch. Expensive. We'll sell the house. It's worth at least $450, maybe more, plus whatever's in her accounts. A pause. The sound of cabinet doors closing. She signed the papers, Marcus. We have power of attorney. It's all legal. I sat perfectly still on the edge of my bed, my hands folded in my lap the way they'd been folded for the past 47 years. The heating vent was just below the window, the one Robert had promised to fix because it let in the cold. He'd been dead 8 years. I'd learned to stuff it with towels in winter. Now I was grateful. When Marcus asked. Next week. I already paid the deposit. We can move her stuff into storage, keep what we want. The realtor says spring market is... I stopped listening. Not because I couldn't bear it, because I'd heard enough. The bedroom was dark except for the street light through the curtains, the same curtains I'd made 32 years ago when we'd moved into this house. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a mortgage we'd paid off. Mine, ours, Robert's and mine. They were going to sell it next week. My hands were steady. That surprised me. I looked down at them. 78-year-old hands, liver-spotted, the wedding ring loose now on a finger that had grown thinner. They didn't shake at all. Something cold and clear was moving through me, something that felt almost like relief. I'd known something was wrong for months. The way Lisa answered when I asked about my bank statements. I'll bring them up later, Mom. She never did. The way Marcus had started calling me Mom again instead of Ma, his voice taking on that careful tone people use with children. The papers he'd brought by in January. Just some updates to your will, Ma, making sure everything's current. I'd signed them. I'd trusted him. Downstairs, their voices had moved to the living room. I could hear the television now, some show with canned laughter. Normal evening sounds. The sounds of people who'd just planned to erase someone's entire life and were now watching sitcoms. I stood up. My knees protested. They always did after sitting too long, but I made it to the closet. 60 years of practice, walking quietly through this house. First so I wouldn't wake Marcus when he was a baby, then so I wouldn't disturb Robert when he worked nights, then so I wouldn't... What? Remind them I was still here? The suitcase was on the top shelf, the blue one Robert and I had used for our anniversary trip to Niagara Falls. I pulled it down. It smelled like mothballs and old leather. I didn't turn on the light. I packed in the dark, by feel and memory. Underwear, 2 pairs of pants, 3 sweaters, my medication bottles from the bathroom. I took them all, didn't bother counting. Toothbrush. The small bag of jewellery Robert had given me over the years. Nothing expensive, but mine. The photo album from under the bed, the one with pictures from before Marcus was born, when it was just Robert and me and everything was still ahead of us. My hands found the envelope in my nightstand drawer. Emergency cash, $300. I'd been putting away $20 a month since Robert died. Money from returning bottles, from cutting coupons, from the birthday checks my niece Jennifer sent that I never mentioned to Marcus. Some part of me had known. Some part of me had been preparing to disappear. The suitcase wouldn't close all the way. I sat on it, another thing that used to be easier, and forced the latches. They clicked, too loud. I froze, listening. The television kept playing. Lisa laughed at something. I found my purse, my coat. My shoes were by the door downstairs. I'd have to get them. I'd have to walk right past the living room. The fear came then, finally, not of them stopping me, of what came after. Where would I go? I was 78 years old. It was March. It was cold. I had $300 and a suitcase that smelled like mothballs. I looked around the bedroom one more time. The bed Robert and I had shared, the dresser with the stuck drawer, the reading chair where I'd nursed Marcus, rocked him through fevers, read him stories until my voice went hoarse. Downstairs, the show ended. Commercial break. Loud voices selling cars. I picked up the suitcase and opened the door. The stairs didn't creak. 60 years in this house, and I knew which boards to avoid. Left side going down. Skip the 4th step entirely. Hug the banister on the landing. I moved like a ghost, like I'd been practicing. My shoes were where I always left them, lined up neat by the front door. Brown walking shoes with the cushioned soles. I'd bought them last fall, back when I still thought I might need comfortable shoes for walking around the mall with Lisa, for lunch dates that never quite happened because she was always too busy. I set down the suitcase, held my breath, slipped on the shoes without sitting, without untying the laces first. My balance wasn't what it used to be, but I managed, one hand against the wall. The living room was 15 feet away. I could see the blue flicker of the television. Could hear voices. Some drama now, not a comedy. Marcus said something. Lisa responded. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew the tone. The tone of people comfortable in someone else's house. I picked up the suitcase and opened the door. Cold air hit my face. March in Ohio. I stepped out onto the porch and closed the door behind me with a soft click that sounded to my ears like a gunshot. No one came running. I walked down the porch steps. 4 steps, railing loose on the left side, another thing Robert never fixed, and down the driveway to the sidewalk. The streetlights made everything orange and unfamiliar. I'd lived on Maple Avenue for 32 years, and suddenly I didn't recognize it. I turned left, away from downtown, away from the bus stop I usually used for my monthly trip to the grocery store. Some instinct told me to go somewhere they wouldn't think to look. The suitcase was heavier than I remembered. I switched hands every half block. My shoulders started to ache too. I kept walking. 3 blocks down, I realized I'd forgotten my heavy coat. I was wearing the wool cardigan, the one with the stretched pockets, and it wasn't enough. The cold was working its way through the knit, settling into my bones. My hands were already numb. I kept walking. A car passed. I turned my face away, irrational fear spiking through me that it might be Marcus, that he'd noticed I was gone, But why would he notice? I was usually asleep by now. They probably thought I was upstairs in bed, safely tucked away while they planned my future. The bus stop on Stirling Avenue had a shelter, plexiglass on 3 sides and a bench. I sank onto it and set the suitcase down beside me, my whole body suddenly shaking. Not from fear, from cold, from adrenaline, from the weight of what I'd just done. I'd run away from home. At 78 years old, I'd run away from my own house. The laugh that came out of me sounded strange, rusty. I couldn't remember the last time I'd laughed at all. The bus schedule was posted on the pole. Route 47 runs until midnight. I checked my watch, the one Robert gave me on our 25th anniversary, still keeping time, 9:43. Last bus in an hour and 17 minutes. I sat in the cold and waited. My purse was in my lap. I opened it, needing something to do with my hands. Wallet, tissues. The pill organizer Lisa had bought me. So you don't forget, Mom. As if I'd been forgetting, I'd been taking the same medications for 10 years. I knew them by colour and shape, could take them in the dark. Under the wallet, my fingers found paper. I pulled it out. An envelope. Cream-coloured, expensive weight. My name on the front in unfamiliar handwriting. I opened it. Legal letterhead. Notice of power of attorney. Dated January 15th. 2 months ago. The night Marcus brought over the will updates. I read it twice, then a 3rd time. It wasn't a will update. It was a complete transfer, medical decisions, financial decisions, property rights, everything. Signed over to Marcus Allen Patterson, with Lisa Marie Patterson as secondary. My signature at the bottom, witnessed, notarized. I didn't remember signing this. I remembered signing something, yes, but Marcus had said it was just to make sure the house would pass to him smoothly when I died. That's what it meant. Except they weren't planning to wait that long. My hands weren't steady anymore. The paper shook. I read the clause near the bottom. In the event of diminished capacity or inability to live independently, primary attorney-in-fact is authorized. Authorized to make all decisions regarding placement in assisted living or memory care facilities. Diminished capacity. I was teaching myself Spanish on Duolingo. I volunteered at the library every Tuesday. I'd beaten Jennifer at chess last month. My memory was fine, my capacity was fine, but on paper I'd signed away my right to say so. The bus came at 11, nearly empty except for a young man in a hospital uniform and an elderly couple near the back. The driver looked at me, really looked, took in the suitcase and the too thin sweater and something in my face, and said, "Fare's $3.50. I fed bills into the slot. $4. He gave me change. "Where you headed?" he asked. I looked at the route map above his head. A dozen stops, most of them in neighbourhoods I'd never been to. I picked one at random. "Riverside Motel," I said. "Is that on this route?" 3 stops past Main Street. "You sure that's where you want to go?" I met his eyes. He was younger than Marcus, maybe 50. Concerned but not pitying. "I'm sure," I said. I took a seat near the middle. The bus lurched forward. Through the window I watched Maple Avenue disappear, then Sterling, then the whole neighbourhood where I'd lived my entire adult life. The woman in the back was staring at me. I could feel it, the judgment. An old woman, alone, at night. Running away like a teenager. Let her stare. I pulled out the power of attorney document again. Read it again. This time I noticed the bank listed at the bottom. First National. My bank for 43 years. I had accounts there, checking, savings. The C.D. Roberts life insurance had gone into. Marcus had his name on the checking account. I'd added him after Robert died in case something happened, in case I needed help. I wondered if the savings account was still mine. I wondered how much of it was already gone. The bus stopped at Main Street, started again, stopped at Riverside. "This is you," the driver called back. I stood, gripping the suitcase. My legs had stiffened from sitting. "You need me to wait?" he asked. "Make sure they have a room?" Something in my chest cracked at that small kindness. "I'll be fine," I said. "Thank you." The motel was lit up like a carnival. Neon sign, vacancy. Single-story units in an L shape around a parking lot. Not the kind of place I'd ever stayed, not the kind of place Robert would have chosen. But Robert was gone, and the people who should have protected me had decided I was a problem to be solved. I walked to the office and rang the bell. The clerk was young, 20-something, nose ring and tired eyes. She looked up from her phone when I set the suitcase down. "Need a room?" "Yes, 1 night." I hesitated. "Maybe 2. $59 per night. Cash or card?" I pulled out my wallet. 2 20s, a 10, a 5. I'd broken one of the hundreds to pay for the bus. Stupid. I should have used the smaller bills first. "Cash," I said. She took it. Didn't ask questions. Handed me a key attached to a green plastic tag. "Room 106. Checkouts at 11. Continental breakfast 7 to 9 in the lobby." Continental breakfast. I hadn't eaten since lunch. My stomach was empty, but I couldn't imagine putting food in it. "Thank you." Ice machines by the laundry room if you need it." She was already looking back at her phone. To her, I was just another tired traveller, anonymous, invisible. For once, I was grateful for it. Room 106 was at the far end of the building, the key stuck in the lock. I had to jiggle it twice before the door opened. The smell hit me first. Cigarettes and industrial cleaner and something musty underneath. The bedspread was brown and orange, geometric patterns that probably dated back to 1987. The TV was bolted to the dresser. The window had curtains that didn't quite close all the way. It was nothing like my bedroom at home. I set down the suitcase and locked the door, both locks, the deadbolt and the chain. Then I sat on the edge of the bed and looked at my hands. They were shaking again. The adrenaline was wearing off, and underneath it was something vast and cold. Not fear, not exactly. More like a void where certainty used to be. I'd left. I'd actually left. I had $246 left. This room cost $59 per night. 4 nights. 4 nights, and then what? I made myself stand, made myself unpack, toothbrush in the bathroom, medication bottles lined up on the nightstand, the photo album on the bed beside me. I opened it to a random page. Robert and me at Lake Erie, 1965. He was holding a fish, grinning like a fool. I was laughing at him. 25 years old, married 3 years. No idea what was coming. If I could go back to that girl, what would I tell her? Nothing. She wouldn't believe me anyway. I closed the album. I pulled out the power of attorney document again. The legal language swam in front of my eyes, but I forced myself to focus. Primary attorney, in fact, is authorized to... Authorized. That was the word that kept snagging. As if authorization was something I'd meant to give. As if I'd understood what I was signing away. The bank. First National. That was step 1. I looked at the digital clock by the bed. 11:47 p.m. The bank would open at 9. 10 hours. I should sleep. I needed to sleep. I lay down on top of the covers, still wearing my shoes, and stared at the ceiling. Water stains in the corner, cracks in the plaster. The air conditioning unit rattled. This wasn't how I'd imagined my life at 78. I'd imagined... what? Grandchildren visiting. Sunday dinners. Maybe a condo somewhere warm. Robert and I used to talk about Arizona. Desert winters. No more shoveling snow. But Robert was gone. And the grandchildren, Marcus and Lisa's son Daniel, almost 13 now, barely knew me. He came to Sunday dinners, but his face was buried in his phone. When I asked him about school, he gave one-word answers. When I tried to show him the old photos of his father as a boy, he looked bored. Maybe that was my fault too. Maybe I'd waited too long. Maybe I'd been too quiet, too forgettable, too easy to erase. No. The word came up sharp and clear in my mind. No. I hadn't done this. They had. I sat up, pulled my purse onto my lap, found the small notebook I'd been keeping, the one where I tracked my medications, my appointments. The grocery lists Lisa never picked up. I flipped to a blank page and wrote, First National Bank, 9 a.m. Freeze accounts, remove Marcus's name, check savings balance. What else? There had to be more. Legal help, but lawyers were expensive. How much did lawyers even cost? My niece, Jennifer. The thought came sudden and bright. Jennifer. My brother Thomas's daughter. She was, 45 now? Lived 2 states away in Pennsylvania. We exchanged Christmas cards, birthday phone calls. She'd sent me a check for my birthday last month. $100. Treat yourself to something nice, Aunt Helen. I'd put it in my emergency cash envelope. Jennifer had always asked pointed questions about Marcus. Is he checking in on you? Are you doing okay for money? As if she'd suspected something. Maybe she had. I found my phone, the basic flip phone Marcus had gotten me 3 years ago. Easier for you, Ma. He'd set it up so I could only call 5 numbers. His, Lisa's, the doctor, 911, and Jennifer, limited, controlled. I hadn't noticed. It was almost midnight, but I dialed anyway. 3 rings, 4. Hello? Jennifer's voice, alert despite the late hour. Jennifer, it's Helen. A pause. Aunt Helen, is everything okay? It's midnight. I know, I'm sorry. The words stuck. How did I explain? Are you hurt? Where are you? I'm safe. I'm in a motel. I left. Left where? Your house? Her voice went sharp, focused. What happened? And then it all came out. The overheard conversation. The power of attorney I hadn't known I'd signed. The plan to put me in a home next week. The house they were going to sell. Jennifer didn't interrupt. Didn't tell me I must be confused. Didn't suggest I'd misunderstood. She just listened. When I finished, there was a long silence. Then, Aunt Helen, do you have the power of attorney document with you? Yes. Okay. First thing tomorrow morning, you need to go to the bank. Every bank where you have an account. Tell them you're revoking Marcus's access. All of it. They'll have paperwork. Can I do that? He has. Power of attorney doesn't mean you're incompetent. It means he can act on your behalf. But you can revoke it any time you want. You're still in charge of your own life. Still in charge. I wrote it down in the notebook. Second, Jennifer said, you need a lawyer. Elder law specialist. They deal with this kind of thing all the time. I don't know if I can afford. There are organizations. Legal aid. Elder advocacy services. I'm going to make some calls tomorrow. Where are you exactly? I told her. The Riverside Motel, room 106. Stay there. Don't go back to the house. Don't answer if Marcus calls. I'm going to drive out there tomorrow. It's 6 hours? I can leave by 8, be there by 2. Jennifer, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Your family. My dad would have... Her voice cracked. He would have done the same thing. You know he would. Thomas, my baby brother, dead 5 years now. Cancer. He would have done the same thing. Thank you, I whispered. Get some sleep. Lock the door. I'll see you tomorrow. She hung up. I sat holding the phone. Room 106, brown bedspread, water stains on the ceiling. $59 a night. But the door was locked. The chain was on. And for the first time in 8 years, maybe longer, I felt like I could breathe. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Marcus's face, heard Lisa's voice through the heating vent. She won't even notice, as if I were already gone, already erased. At 6 a.m. I gave up, took a shower in the tiny bathroom. The water pressure was weak and the temperature fluctuated between scalding and freezing, but it was water and it was private, and no one was going to knock on the door asking if I needed help. I put on clean clothes. The blue sweater Jennifer had sent me for Christmas, comfortable pants, my good walking shoes. I looked at myself in the spotted mirror, 78 years old. Grey hair that needed cutting, lines around my mouth and eyes. Tired, but not defeated, not yet. Continental breakfast was stale muffins and weak coffee, but I forced down half a muffin. My stomach had finally unclenched enough to accept food. The young clerk from last night was gone, replaced by an older man who didn't look up when I refilled my coffee. The TV in the corner was playing morning news, traffic, weather, a story about a missing teenager found safe in Cleveland. I wondered if anyone was looking for me yet. At 8:30 I walked to the bus stop, Thursday morning, commuters, people heading to work, to school, to lives that hadn't imploded overnight. I stood among them with my purse clutched tight, the power of attorney document folded inside. The bank opened at 9. I was there at 9:03. First National looked the same, marble floors, high ceiling, the teller stations on the left, the loan officers at desks on the right. I'd been coming here since 1981, 43 years. They'd given Robert a Christmas ham every year. They'd sent flowers when he died. Can I help you? The woman at the desk was new, 30-something, professional smile, name tag, Sandra Kim, personal banking. I need to speak to someone about my accounts, I said. Of course. Do you have an appointment? No. But I need to do this today. Something in my voice must have registered, because her smile became more genuine. Let me see what I can do. Your name? Helen Patterson. She typed, looked at her screen. Ah, yes, Mrs. Patterson. You've been with us a long time. More typing. It looks like we have... Okay, let me get our branch manager. Just one moment. She disappeared into the back. I stood there gripping my purse, very aware of the security camera. If Marcus checked the accounts, would he see I'd been here? Could he track me that way? Mrs. Patterson? A man had emerged from the offices, 50-something, grey suit, kind eyes. "I'm Richard Morrison, branch manager. Why don't you come back to my office?" His office was small but private. He closed the door, gestured to a chair. "Sandra said you had some concerns about your accounts." I pulled out the power of attorney document and set it on his desk. "My son has access to my checking account. I added him 8 years ago after my husband passed. But this," I tapped the document, "this I don't remember signing, and I need to revoke it, all of it." He picked up the paper, read carefully. His expression didn't change, but something tightened around his eyes. "This gives your son quite extensive authority," he said quietly. "I know. I want it stopped, today." "I understand. Let me pull up your accounts." He turned to his computer, typed. The clicking of keys seemed very loud. Then he stopped, went very still. "Mrs. Patterson," he said slowly, "when did you last check your savings account?" My chest went cold. Lisa was supposed to bring me statements. She said your savings account currently has a balance of $832. The room tilted. "That's not right. There should be." I couldn't get the words out. "Robert's life insurance, $75,000. I put it all in savings. And the CD, that was another $20,000 when it matured. I never touched there. Have been several large withdrawals over the past 18 months. He turned the screen so I could see. 10,000 in August of last year, 15,000 in November, 20,000 in January, all authorized by Marcus Patterson as power of attorney. $45,000 gone. The checking account shows similar activity. Regular withdrawals, payments to," he scrolled, "property management companies, credit cards not in your name, auto loans. They used my money to pay their bills." My voice sounded strange, distant. "It appears so." "I'm very sorry, Mrs. Patterson." The sympathy in his voice made it real. They'd stolen from me, systematically, for 18 months, while I sat in my bedroom drinking tea and teaching myself Spanish. They'd been draining my accounts. "What do I do?" I asked. "First, we revoke this power of attorney immediately. I have the paperwork. Second, we freeze all your accounts so no further transactions can occur without your direct authorization. Third," he paused, "third, you might want to consider speaking with an attorney. What's been done here is potentially financial exploitation of an elder. That's a crime in Ohio. A crime. My son had committed a crime against me." The papers Mr. Morrison put in front of me were official and complex, but I read every word. "Revocation of power of attorney. Immediate cessation of authority. New account passwords. New debit card, the old one deactivated. I signed my name 6 times. There, he said. As of this moment, Marcus Patterson no longer has any access to your accounts. Is there anyone you'd like to add? A trusted family member? My niece, Jennifer Harding. We can do that. She'll need to come in with photo ID, and she's driving out from Pennsylvania. She'll be here this afternoon. He nodded, made a note. We'll have the paperwork ready. Mrs. Patterson, I have to ask, are you somewhere safe? Do you need resources? I'm in a motel. I'm fine. There are organisations that can help. Elder services, legal aid. He pulled a card from his desk drawer. This is the County Elder Advocacy Office. They have social workers, lawyers who specialise in this. No charge. I took the card, read it 3 times until the words made sense. Thank you. I wish you'd come in sooner, he said. But you're here now. That's what matters. I walked out of First National at 10:30 with 4 pieces of paper in my purse. The revocation of power of attorney, a new account summary showing $832 in savings and $314. In checking, the Elder Advocacy card and a receipt for a new debit card to be mailed to Jennifer's address within 7 to 10 business days. $1,146. That's what was left of a lifetime of saving. The bus stop bench was cold, but I sat anyway. Needed to sit, needed to process. My phone rang. Marcus. I looked at his name on the screen. My son, my only child, the baby I'd carried for 9 months, nursed through fevers. Driven to soccer practice, help with homework, sent to college. He'd stolen $45,000 from me. I declined the call. 30 seconds later, he called again. I declined again. A text message appeared. Mum, where are you? Lisa says your bed wasn't slept in. Call me. Another text. Mum, this isn't funny. We're worried. Another. If you don't answer, I'm calling the police. I turned off the phone. The silence was absolute. Jennifer arrived at 1:45. I was sitting in the motel room when I heard the knock. Different from housekeeping, more urgent. I looked through the peephole and saw her standing there, brown hair pulled back, face tight with concern. I opened the door. Aunt Helen. She hugged me, tight, the kind of hug that said, I've got you. And, you're not alone, and I should have checked sooner, all at once. I stood stiff for a moment, unpracticed at being held. Then let myself lean into it just slightly. I'm okay, I said when she pulled back. You're not. But you will be. She came inside, set down an overnight bag, looked around the room. This is where you've been. It was available. It's a dump. You're coming home with me. Jennifer, I can't. We're not arguing about this. You're family. You need help. That's not a negotiation. She sat on the bed, patted the space beside her. Tell me everything. Start from the beginning. So I did. The overheard conversation, the power of attorney, the flight, the bank this morning. When I got to the part about the money, her face went white. $45,000 gone. That son of a bitch. She said it quietly, almost conversationally, which somehow made it worse. I knew something was off. Christmas, when we video called, you seemed diminished. But I thought maybe you were just tired, or... She stopped. I should have pushed harder. You couldn't have known. I suspected. That's almost worse. She pulled out her phone. Okay, you went to the bank. Good. What else have you done? I showed her the elder advocacy card. Perfect. We're calling them right now. She dialed before I could protest. Put it on speaker. A woman answered. Professional, warm. Elder Advocacy Services, this is Keisha. Hi, my name is Jennifer Harding. I'm calling on behalf of my aunt Helen Patterson. She's 78 and we've just discovered financial exploitation by her son. He had power of attorney and withdrew $45,000 without her knowledge or consent. She's revoked his POA as of this morning. But we need legal help. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yes, we can absolutely help. Is Helen available to speak? Jennifer handed me the phone. This is Helen. Hi, Helen. I'm Keisha Williams. I'm a social worker here. What you're describing is financial abuse. Our take, and Ohio takes this very seriously. We work with attorneys who specialize in elder law. Would you be able to come in tomorrow for a consultation? No charge. Tomorrow. Another day of hiding in a motel room, but also help. Real help. Yes, I said. Perfect. Let me get some basic information. The call took 20 minutes. By the end of it, I had an appointment for 10 a.m. Friday with an attorney named Grace Morrison, elder law specialist, 30 years of experience. Aggressive advocate, Keisha said. You'll like her. When I hung up, Jennifer was making notes in her phone. Okay, tomorrow you meet with the attorney. They'll probably want to file for emergency protective orders, freeze the property, potentially press charges. Charges. She looked up. Helen, he stole from you. That's a crime. He's my son, which makes it worse, not better. Her voice was gentle but firm. I know this is hard, but he was planning to institutionalize you and sell your house. He doesn't get to walk away from that. The house. I hadn't let myself think about the house. Can they still sell it, I asked, legally? Not without you. The power of attorney is revoked. But we need to protect it, change the locks, make sure they can't. She stopped. Where are the house keys? On my key ring. In my purse. Do they have copies? Of course they did. Marcus had lived there until he was 23. He probably still had his childhood key. We need a locksmith, Jennifer said. Today. Can you authorize that? It's my house. Then we're doing it. She was already Googling locksmiths. There's one in your neighborhood, Munro Security. Can be there in 2 hours. I'll pay up front. You can reimburse me later. Jennifer, Aunt Helen, stop. Let me help you. So I did. We drove to Maple Avenue at 3:30, Jennifer in her sensible Honda, me in the passenger seat feeling like I was going to throw up. We parked 2 houses down, out of sight of my driveway. The locksmith's van was already there. A man in a blue uniform was drilling out my front door lock. "Mrs. Patterson?" he called when he saw us approaching. "That's me. Your niece called. Changing all exterior locks, right? Front, back, garage?" "Yes. No problem. Take about an hour." Lisa's car was gone. Marcus's truck too. At work probably, or out looking for me. Jennifer squeezed my hand. "You want to go inside?" I looked at the house. My house. 32 years of my life contained in those walls. Every room held a memory. Marcus's first steps in the living room, Robert reading the paper at the kitchen table, holiday dinners and birthday parties, and quiet Tuesday evenings. "No," I said, "I don't want to go inside." "Okay. We'll wait in the car." The locksmith finished at 4:15. 3 new locks, 6 keys. He handed me the set with a receipt. "If you need any adjustments, just call. And ma'am." He looked uncomfortable. "Your niece mentioned this was... I just want you to know. We logged this as an emergency security change. If anyone claims they have a right to access, we have documentation that you, the homeowner, requested the change." "Thank you." Jennifer paid him. We sat in the car as he drove away. "I need to get some things," I said. "Clothes, documents, the safe. Not today. Not alone. We'll come back Saturday with a police escort if we have to. Right now, I want you away from here." She was right. Marcus's truck could pull up any minute. Lisa could come home. I wasn't ready for that confrontation. We drove away from Maple Avenue. "At a red light," Jennifer said. "There's something else we need to talk about." "What?" "Your will. If that power of attorney document was forged or obtained under false pretenses, what else did he have you sign?" I'd been thinking the same thing. "The will is in the safe deposit box at the bank. The key is..." I checked my purse. "The key ring with my house keys, now obsolete, my car key for the car sitting in the garage, and the small flat key for the safe deposit box. I have it. We get that tomorrow, first thing, before your attorney meeting. Make sure it says what you think it says." I nodded. My whole life was becoming a checklist of betrayals to verify. "Are you hungry?" Jennifer asked. I wasn't, but I said, "Yes." We stopped at a diner. I ordered soup and managed half of it. Jennifer ate a sandwich and watched me with the same concerned expression my mother used to have when I was sick. "What are you thinking?" she asked, "that I don't know who I am anymore?" The words came out before I could stop them. For 8 years I've been, I don't know, Robert's widow, Marcus's mother, the old woman upstairs. I thought that was enough. It wasn't enough for them. No, but is it enough for you? I looked at her, really looked. She was 45, divorced 3 years ago, taught high school English, lived alone in a small house in Pennsylvania. She'd rebuilt her life after her marriage ended. She'd survived. "I don't know," I said honestly. "That's okay. You don't have to know yet." She pushed my water glass closer. "Drink. You're dehydrated." I drank. "There's a guest room at my house," Jennifer said. "It's small, but it's yours for as long as you need it. No timeline, no pressure, just somewhere safe while you figure things out." Somewhere safe. I'd lived in my own house for 32 years and never felt unsafe. Now I was in a diner in my own city, and every time the door opened I flinched, expecting Marcus. "I don't want to be a burden," I said. "You're not. You're family." She reached across the table, took my hand. "Dad would have wanted me to do this. You know he would. Thomas. My baby brother. He would have done exactly this. Would have driven 6 hours. Would have fought for me. Would have told Marcus exactly where to go." "Okay," I said. "Okay, thank you. Good. We'll get your things from the motel, hit the road. I'll have you home by 8. Home. Funny how that word could change meaning so quickly. Friday morning I met my new attorney. Grace Morrison's office was on the 3rd floor of a converted Victorian house downtown. The waiting room had comfortable chairs and magazines that weren't 3 years old. A receptionist who smiled like she meant it. "Helen Patterson? Yes, Grace will see you now." The attorney was younger than I'd expected, late 50s maybe, perfectly tailored suit, silver haircut, sharp. She stood when we entered, came around the desk to shake my hand. "Mrs. Patterson." "Jennifer, please sit." Her handshake was firm. Her eyes were sharp and kind at the same time, the kind that had probably seen everything and weren't shocked by anything. "Jennifer filled me in on the basics," she said, settling behind her desk. "Power of attorney obtained under false pretenses, financial exploitation, planned institutionalization. Is that accurate?" "Yes." "Let's start with documentation. What do you have?" I spread it all on her desk. The power of attorney document. The bank statements Mr. Morrison had printed for me showing 18 months of unauthorized withdrawals. The bank's revocation paperwork. My old checkbook, the one Lisa had kept forgetting to bring back. Grace went through it all methodically, making notes. Her expression didn't change, but her pen moved faster as she went. "This is textbook financial abuse," she said finally. $45,000 over 18 months. Do you have any evidence that you didn't knowingly authorize these withdrawals? I didn't know the account was being accessed. Lisa was supposed to bring me statements. She never did. Did you ask for them? Yes, multiple times. Good. That establishes a pattern of concealment. More notes. The power of attorney itself. Tell me about the day you signed it. I told her. January 15th. Marcus coming over after dinner. The papers he brought. Just updating your will, Ma, making sure everything's current if something happens. Did he explain what you were signing? No. He said it was standard. He pointed to the signature lines. Did you read the document? The question hung there, heavy. I skimmed it. I trusted him. Of course you did. He's your son. No judgment in her voice, just fact. That trust is what he exploited. Did anyone witness the signing besides the notary? Lisa was there. The wife. Perfect. They corroborated each other. She leaned back. Here's what I'm seeing. Clear evidence of financial exploitation. A power of attorney obtained through misrepresentation. You were told it was one thing. It was actually another. A pattern of concealment and isolation. And the smoking gun. They were planning to institutionalize you to gain complete control of your assets. Can we get the money back? Some of it, potentially, through civil suit. But that takes time and money, and there's no guarantee. What I recommend is this. We file an emergency protective order preventing them from accessing any of your assets. We report the financial exploitation to Adult Protective Services. And we file a police report. Police? Financial exploitation of an elder is a third-degree felony in Ohio. It carries real consequences. If we can prove they forged your signature or obtained the POA through fraud, we're looking at additional charges. My son, prison. Grace must have seen something in my face because her voice gentled. I know this is difficult, but here's what I need you to understand. They were planning to take everything from you. Your money, your home, your freedom. The only reason they didn't is because you overheard them and ran. If you hadn't, if you'd gone to bed that night without knowing, you'd be in a nursing home right now. I knew she was right, but knowing didn't make it easier. What do you want to do? Grace asked. What did I want? I wanted to wake up and discover this was all a nightmare. I wanted Robert back. I wanted my son to be the boy I'd raised, the one who brought me dandelions from the yard and told me he loved me every night before bed. But that boy was gone. Maybe he'd never existed. Maybe I'd loved someone who'd been practicing to hurt me all along. I want them to stop, I said. I want my house protected. I want to make sure they can never do this to anyone else. Grace nodded. Then we file everything. The protective order today, the police report, Adult Protective Services. I'll also draft a new will for you, one that makes your wishes crystal clear, and a revocable living trust to protect your remaining assets. Your niece tells me she's willing to serve as trustee? Yes. Good. We'll get that set up. Meanwhile, I strongly recommend you do not respond to any contact from your son or daughter-in-law. Don't answer calls. Don't reply to texts. If they show up in person, call the police. They haven't tried to contact me since yesterday morning. Grace and Jennifer exchanged a look. They've probably figured out you went to the bank, Grace said. Once they try to access the accounts and can't, they'll know. Expect escalation. Escalation? Apologies, excuses, maybe threats, possibly showing up at Jennifer's house once they figure out you're there. We'll add Jennifer's address to the protective order. If they violate it, they'll be arrested. The word arrested made it all suddenly, viscerally real. How long does this take? I asked. The protective order? We can file today, hearing within a week. The criminal investigation? Months, potentially, depending on how cooperative they are, how much evidence APS finds. The civil suit for restitution? A year, maybe more. She looked at me steadily. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to be prepared for that. I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. I have one more question, Grace said. What about the house? Do you want to keep it? Did I? Maple Avenue, 3 bedrooms, the garden Robert planted, the kitchen where I'd made 32 years of dinners, my bedroom, my life, but also the heating vent I'd heard their betrayal through, the stairs I'd crept down like a thief, the place I'd been erased slowly, room by room, until I barely existed. I don't know, I said. You don't have to decide now. We'll put it in the trust for protection. You can decide later whether to sell or keep it. Either way, it'll be your choice. Your choice. I'd forgotten what that felt like. We left Grace's office at noon with a folder full of papers. Emergency protective order pending. Police report scheduled for Monday morning. Adult Protective Services notified. New will to be drafted within the week. How do you feel? Jennifer asked as we walked to the car. Numb. That's normal. Is any of this normal? She unlocked the car. We got in. Unfortunately, yes. Elder financial abuse is the fastest growing form of exploitation in the country. Most of it comes from family members. Grace told me she handles 2 or 3 cases like yours every month. 2 or 3 every month. How many other 78-year-old women were sitting in motel rooms discovering their children had stolen their lives? I'm not special, I said. You ran. A lot of people don't. A lot of people convince themselves it's not that bad or it's their fault, or family is supposed to forgive anything. You drew a line. That's special. We drove back to Jennifer's house. Small, tidy, a blue colonial with white shutters, a front porch with a swing, a mailbox that said Harding in neat letters. "Welcome home," Jennifer said. "That word again." The guest room was upstairs, small but bright, with a window overlooking the backyard, a double bed with a quilt, a dresser, a reading chair, bathrooms next door. I cleared out some closet space. "Make yourself comfortable," she left me alone. I sat on the bed. The quilt was soft, hand-stitched. I ran my fingers over the pattern. My phone, still turned off since yesterday, was in my purse. I pulled it out, turned it on, 17 missed calls, 8 voicemails, 23 text messages. I scrolled through them. "Marcus, Mom, where are you? Marcus, this is ridiculous. Call me back." Lisa, "Helen, we're very worried. Please let us know you're safe." Marcus, "Went by the house. Locks are changed." "What the hell?" Marcus, "If you've hired a lawyer, you're making a huge mistake. We only want what's best for you. Please come home so we can talk about this." Nuff, "The bank says you revoked my POA. Do you understand what you've done? How am I supposed to help you now?" Nuff, "Helen, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Can we please talk?" Marcus, "You're being manipulated. Jennifer always hated me. Whatever she's telling you is lies." Muffed, "Fine. You want to do this the hard way? We have lawyers too." The last one had come through an hour ago. I read them all twice, looking for the message that said, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me." It wasn't there. I deleted every message, blocked both numbers. Then I lay down on the quilt and stared at the ceiling and let myself feel, for the first time since I'd heard my name through the heating vent, the full weight of what I'd lost. Not the money, not the house, my son. The letter arrived on Wednesday. Jennifer brought it up to my room. Cream envelope, expensive stationery, Lisa's handwriting on the front. "You don't have to read it," Jennifer said. But I did. I needed to. I opened it. "Dear Helen, I'm writing because I don't think you're getting our messages. I'm so worried about you. We both are. I know you're upset about the nursing home conversation you overheard, but I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. We were only exploring options in case your health declined. We never planned to force you into anything. It was just research. The money from your accounts, Marcus has been managing your bills like you asked him to. The property taxes, the insurance, the new roof the house needed. Those withdrawals were all legitimate expenses. If you'd asked, we would have explained everything. We love you. We've been taking care of you because we love you. And now you've changed the locks and cut off all contact and hired lawyers to come between us. And frankly, Helen, I don't understand how you could think we're the bad guys here. Marcus is devastated. He's been crying every night. His own mother won't talk to him, won't even let him explain. I know Jennifer has always been jealous of our relationship with you. please don't let her poison you against your own son. Come home. Let's talk about this like family. We miss you so much. Love, Lisa." I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it back in the envelope. "What does it say?" Jennifer asked. "That I misunderstood, that the money was for legitimate expenses, that Marcus is crying. Is any of that true?" I thought about the bank statements, $10,000 in August. The date stuck in my mind because it was the week of my 77th birthday. Marcus and Lisa had taken me to dinner, Applebee's. Lisa had ordered a dessert with a candle. They'd sung Happy Birthday while the waitress looked on, bored. $10,000 withdrawn 3 days later. I looked at Jennifer. "No, none of it is true." "Good, you're clear on that." But she thinks it is, or she's convinced herself. I don't know which is worse. Does it matter? Did it? The result was the same either way. My money was gone, my trust was shattered, my son, My phone rang. Jennifer's landline, downstairs. A moment later, she called up. "Helen, it's someone named Daniel. Daniel, my grandson." I went downstairs, picked up the phone with shaking hands. "Hello, Grandma?" His voice cracked on the word, 13 years old. "Grandma, it's Daniel." "I know, sweetheart." "Are you okay? Dad said you ran away. He said you're sick and you're not thinking clearly," and a gulping sound. "He was crying. I don't understand what's happening." My chest cracked open. "I'm not sick," I said gently. "I'm fine. I promise." "Then why won't you come home? Dad's really upset. He keeps saying you won't talk to him. Did he do something wrong?" How did I answer that? How did I tell a 13-year-old boy that his father was a thief and a liar without destroying him? "Daniel, listen to me. What's happening between me and your parents is complicated. It's adult stuff. It has nothing to do with you. I love you very much." "Then why did you leave?" "Because I had to." "But Dad said," "I know what your dad said. But there are things he's not telling you. Things I can't explain right now." Silence. Then, "Are you ever coming back?" The question gutted me. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Oh," small voice. "Lost? Okay. Daniel, I need you to know something. No matter what happens, no matter what anyone says, you didn't do anything wrong. This isn't about you. Do you understand?" "I guess." "And if you ever need to talk to me, you can call this number any time. Okay?" "Okay." A pause. "Grandma, are you mad at me?" "No, baby. I'm not mad at you at all." "Okay. I have to go. Dad's calling me. I love you. Love you too." He hung up. I stood there holding the phone until Jennifer gently took it from me. "That was harder than the lawyer," I said. "I know. He doesn't understand." He will, someday, when he's older. Maybe. Or maybe Marcus would spend the next 5 years poisoning him against me, telling him I was crazy, selfish, cruel. Maybe by the time Daniel was 18, I'd be the villain in a story he'd been told so many times he believed it. The doorbell rang. Jennifer and I looked at each other. "Stay here," she said. She went to the door. I heard it open. Heard a male voice. "Marcus, where is she?" His voice was tight, angry. "I know she's here. Her car's at the house. She's not at the motel anymore. Where else would she go? You need to leave." Jennifer's voice, calm but steel underneath. "She's my mother. I have a right to see her." "No, you don't. She has a restraining order pending. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police." "A restraining order? What the hell did you tell her?" "She was fine until you got involved." "She was not fine. She was being stolen from. By you. Those were legitimate expenses. $45,000 in 18 months. Try again." A long silence. Then, "She's confused. She doesn't understand how bills work, how expensive things are. I was trying to help her." "By planning to institutionalize her and sell her house?" We were just talking about options." She wasn't supposed to hear that, but she did. Another silence. I was standing at the top of the stairs now, holding the banister. I could see the open door, Marcus's silhouette. He looked smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I was finally seeing him clearly. "I want to talk to her," he said, quieter now. Almost pleading, "Just 5 minutes, please." Jennifer looked up, saw me on the stairs. I came down slowly, stood beside Jennifer in the doorway. Marcus's face when he saw me, shock, relief. Something else I couldn't name. "Mum, Marcus, Mum, thank God. I've been so worried. Please, can we just talk about this? Just you and me." "Whatever Jennifer's been telling you, Jennifer hasn't been telling me anything. I heard you through the heating vent, you and Lisa, planning to put me in a home and sell the house." He opened his mouth, closed it. "I went to the bank," I continued. "I know about the money, all of it. That was for bills, Mum, the roof." "There's no new roof, Marcus. I had the house inspected yesterday. The roof is fine. It's the same roof from 2008. His face changed, calculations happening behind his eyes. "Okay," he said. "Okay. Some of it wasn't for bills. We borrowed some. We were going to pay it back. The business had a rough quarter, and we needed." "You stole from me." "No, I would never. Mum, I was trying to help you. You can't live alone anymore. You forget things. You're not safe." "I don't forget things." "You do. You leave the stove on. You can't remember what day it is. Lisa and I were scared you were going to hurt yourself." The lies were so smooth, so practiced. I wondered how long he'd been telling them, if he'd convinced himself they were true. I'm 78, I said. Not incompetent, there's a difference. I never said you were incompetent. You had me declared diminished capacity. I saw the power of attorney paperwork. That's just legal language. It doesn't mean, it means you were planning to take everything from me, my money, my house, my freedom, and you would have if I hadn't overheard you that night. He was shaking his head. No, no, you've got it all wrong. Jennifer's twisting everything. Mom, please, come home. Let's sit down and talk about this properly. I am home, I said. The words hung there. Marcus's face crumpled. For a moment, he looked like the little boy I remembered, the one who scraped his knee and came running to me for comfort. Mom, I'm your son. I know. I love you. Did he? Or did he love what I represented? The house, the money, the safety net he could bleed dry. You stole from me, I said again. You lied to me. You were going to lock me away. I don't know if you love me, Marcus, but I know you hurt me. I never meant. It wasn't supposed to. He stopped, started again. If we could just start over, if you could just come back, we could. No. The word came out firm, final. I've filed for a protective order. My lawyer is filing a police report. You took $45,000 from me without my consent. That's a crime. A police report? Mum, I'm your son. You're going to have me arrested? I'm going to make sure you can't do this to anyone else. There is no one else. There's just you. You're my mother. Then you should have treated me like one. His face went hard. The boy disappeared. In his place was someone I didn't recognize. Fine, he said. You want to do this? We'll do this. I hope you know what you're starting. I'm not starting anything. I'm finishing it. He looked past me to Jennifer. This is your fault. You've always been jealous. Always wanted to get between us. I wanted to protect her, Jennifer said, which is more than you can say. We'll see what a judge says about that. Yes, I said, we will. Marcus turned and walked back to his truck, got in, slammed the door. Jennifer and I stood in the doorway and watched him drive away. My whole body was shaking. You did good, Jennifer said softly. I don't feel good. You did it anyway. That's what counts. We went inside. Jennifer locked the door. Both locks. The chain. I sat on the couch and let the tears come, not for Marcus, for the son I'd thought I had, for the 32 years I'd lived believing I mattered to him, for the grandmother I'd thought I'd get to be, for all the things I'd lost that I'd never get back. Jennifer sat beside me. Didn't try to stop the crying, just sat there, solid and present, while I grieved. 3 months later, I stood in my kitchen on Maple Avenue and made myself a cup of tea. Not quickly, not between other tasks, just tea. Earl Grey, the expensive kind Jennifer had bought me. I boiled water in the kettle Robert and I got as a wedding gift. Warmed the cup first, measured the leaves, poured, waited. The house was mine again. The locks were mine. The silence was mine. I carried the cup to Robert's chair, my chair now, and sat by the window. The garden needed weeding. I'd get to it, or maybe I wouldn't. The choice was mine. The restraining order had been granted. Marcus and Lisa were forbidden from contacting me or coming within 500 feet of the house. They'd violated it twice. Both times I'd called the police. Both times they'd been warned. They hadn't tried a third time. The criminal investigation was ongoing. Grace said they'd likely offer a plea deal. Eventually, restitution, community service, probation, maybe jail time, though she doubted it. First offence, family member. The courts were sympathetic to that. I wasn't sure how I felt about that. Some days I wanted him prosecuted to the fullest extent. Other days I just wanted it to be over. The money was mostly gone. We'd recovered $8,000 through the civil suit, but the rest had already been spent. Debts, credit cards, a boat I'd never seen. Grace said we could pursue more, but it would cost more than we'd recover. I told her to stop. Some things you had to let go. I'd sold the house in April, put everything in a trust with Jennifer as trustee, moved into a small apartment on the east side of town, 1 bedroom, kitchen with a window, walking distance to the library. But today I was back, at Maple Avenue for the closing. New owners were a young couple, pregnant with their first child. They'd walked through last week, excited about the backyard, about the neighbourhood, about the life they'd built here. I'd told them the house was lucky, that good people had lived here, that it had held love. Some of that was even true. Daniel had called me twice, once in April, once in May. Brief calls, awkward. He didn't know what to say, and neither did I. His father was probably listening, but he called. That was something. I told him I loved him, told him to focus on school, told him my door was open whenever he was ready. Someday, maybe, when he was older, when he could make his own choices. The tea had cooled enough to drink. I took a sip. Perfect. I'd started volunteering at the library again, Tuesdays and Thursdays, shelving books, helping with the computer lab. The librarians remembered me, asked where I'd been. Away, I'd said. I'm back now. I'd joined a book club, made friends with a woman named Patricia who was 76, and sharp as a tack, and didn't apologise for taking up space. We met for coffee every Friday. I'd started therapy, Medicare covered it. A woman named Dr. Santos who specialised in family trauma. She didn't tell me to forgive Marcus. She didn't tell me I should try harder to reconcile. She said, "You did what you had to do to survive. That's enough." It was enough. The apartment was small, but it was mine. I'd hung Robert's photo on the wall, the one from Lake Erie, young and grinning and uncomplicated. I missed him. Not the way I had right after he died, that sharp, gasping grief, but a gentler ache, a sense of his absence but also his presence, the life we'd built, the good parts. Marcus was still my son, that didn't change. Biology didn't care about betrayal, but I was still my own person. That didn't change either. I finished my tea, rinsed the cup, set it in the drainer to dry. The young couple would be here soon for the final walk-through. I'd leave the kitchen clean, the windows open. A note on the counter, "Welcome home," because it was their home now, not mine. Mine was waiting. Small apartment, 1 bedroom, books on the shelves, tea in the cupboard, a phone that rang when Jennifer called, when Daniel called, when Patricia called to confirm Friday coffee. A life I'd built from scratch at 78 years old. Not the life I'd planned, not the life I'd wanted, but a life I'd chosen. And that, finally, surprisingly, was enough. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself, the one who always says yes, who shrinks to make space for others, who believes family means tolerating anything, I want you to know something. Your silence isn't kindness, it's self-erasure. Your no isn't cruelty, it's survival. You are not too old to start over. You are not too tired to fight. You are not too guilty to save yourself. I was 78 when I learned that. Don't wait as long as I did.